5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. Over the past few decades, there has been a noticeable increase in the frequency and intensity of landslides, which has been attributed to a combination of natural and anthropogenic factors. The phenomenon is not only disrupting local livelihoods and economies but also bringing to light the urgent need for sustainable development practices in these environmentally sensitive regions. One of the primary reasons for the increase in landslides is the intense and erratic rainfall patterns experienced in the hilly regions. With changing climatic conditions, rainfall events have become more concentrated and unpredictable. When large volumes of rainwater fall in a short span of time, it leads to the saturation of soil and weakens the structural integrity of slopes. This, in turn, triggers landslides, especially in areas where the terrain has already been compromised due to human activities. Deforestation is another critical factor contributing to the increase in landslides. Forests act as natural stabilizers of slopes by binding the soil through roots and reducing surface runoff. However, widespread deforestation for agriculture, construction, and other developmental purposes has led to the removal of this natural protection. As the tree cover diminishes, the soil becomes more vulnerable to erosion, increasing the likelihood of landslides during the monsoon season. The expansion of tourism and urbanization in hill stations has further exacerbated the problem. In recent years, there has been a significant boom in construction activities, including hotels, roads, and residential buildings. Many of these structures are built without adequate geological assessments or adherence to safety norms. The cutting of slopes and excavation for construction weakens the land and makes it more susceptible to collapse. Additionally, the load from concrete buildings adds pressure on already unstable terrain. Unplanned road construction is a major contributor to slope instability. Roads in hill stations are often built by cutting through the hillsides, altering the natural drainage patterns and exposing loose soil. Poor construction techniques and lack of proper slope protection measures lead to increased chances of landslides. The constant vibration caused by heavy vehicles and machinery also weakens the soil structure, triggering landslides even during light rainfall. Another contributing factor is the improper management of drainage systems. Water accumulation due to clogged or poorly designed drainage can infiltrate the soil, reduce its cohesion, and lead to slope failure. In many areas, the absence of well-maintained stormwater drains results in water seeping into the slopes, which is a major cause of landslides during the rainy season. Landslides have far-reaching impacts on the socio-economic fabric of hill station communities. They disrupt transportation and communication networks, isolate villages, and hinder access to essential services like healthcare and education. Agricultural land is often buried under debris, leading to loss of crops and livelihoods. The destruction of homes and infrastructure causes displacement and financial hardship for affected families. Additionally, landslides can result in the loss of human lives, causing emotional trauma and long-term distress. The environmental consequences of landslides are also significant. They cause extensive damage to flora and fauna, disrupt natural watercourses, and lead to the siltation of rivers and reservoirs. The debris from landslides can block river channels, increasing the risk of floods downstream. Furthermore, The deposition of sediment in water bodies affects aquatic life and reduces the storage capacity of reservoirs, impacting water supply and hydroelectric projects. Efforts to mitigate the impact of landslides must focus on both prevention and preparedness. It is essential to adopt sustainable land use practices that take into account the carrying capacity of the region. Development projects should be preceded by thorough environmental and geological assessments. Construction should follow scientific guidelines to ensure minimal disruption to the natural terrain. Retaining walls, proper slope grading, and vegetation restoration can help stabilize slopes and reduce the risk of landslides. Community participation and awareness play a vital role in reducing landslide vulnerability. Local residents must be educated about the risks associated with unplanned development and the importance of preserving natural vegetation. Early warning systems and evacuation plans should be in place to minimize casualties during landslide events. Involving local communities in monitoring changes in the landscape and maintaining drainage systems can go a long way in preventing disasters. Scientific research and technological interventions are crucial in understanding and mitigating landslides. Remote sensing and satellite imagery can help identify landslide-prone zones and monitor changes in land use and vegetation cover. Geotechnical studies can provide insights into soil composition and slope stability. Based on such data, hazard maps can be developed to guide planning and development in hill stations. These tools enable authorities to prioritize areas for intervention and allocate resources effectively. It is also important to integrate disaster risk reduction into the overall development agenda for hill regions. Policymakers must balance the need for economic growth with the imperative of environmental protection. Infrastructure development should be carried out in a manner that respects the ecological sensitivity of the hills. Legal frameworks must be strengthened to enforce building codes and regulate land use in vulnerable areas. Incentives can be provided for eco-friendly construction practices and the use of locally available materials. The growing incidence of landslides in hill stations is a stark reminder of the consequences of ignoring environmental limits. As the pressure of population and tourism continues to mount, it is imperative to rethink development models for these regions. Emphasizing conservation, resilience, and sustainable practices will not only protect the environment but also ensure the safety and well-being of the people who call these hills their home. The need of the hour is to adopt a holistic and long-term approach that integrates science, community participation, and policy action to tackle the challenge of landslides effectively. In conclusion, the increase in landslides in hill stations is a multifaceted issue driven by both natural processes and human activities. While it is not possible to eliminate the risk entirely, a combination of preventive measures, responsible development, and informed decision-making can significantly reduce the impact. Protecting the fragile mountain ecosystems is not just an environmental necessity but a human imperative that demands immediate action. Stop.